Welcome back to Rare Lincoln Penny Coins. Today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and misunderstood coins in American history, the 1967 quarter dollar. A coin that millions have held, thousands have spent without thinking, and a rare few have discovered to be worth far more than 25 cents. Some examples have reached astonishing prices, even figures like $787,976.49 when rare mint errors and exceptional grading combine in the perfect storm of demand, rarity, and collector obsession. The story of the 1967 quarter begins with the legendary Washington quarter. First introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, this coin became a symbol of American heritage. Designed by John Flanagan, the obverse features the powerful left-facing portrait of Washington, while the reverse originally displayed a majestic eagle with outstretched wings, symbolizing strength and freedom. But 1967 was no ordinary year. The United States was facing a serious coin shortage. Silver prices were rising, and people were hoarding coins. In response, the government made a historic change under the authority of United States Mint. Starting in 1965 and continuing through 1967, quarters were no longer made from 90% silver. Instead, they were struck using a copper-nickel clad composition, a layered metal design with a pure copper core sandwiched between nickel outer layers. This change alone makes the 1967 quarter unique in American coinage history. It represents a transition period. And here's where things get exciting. During 1965 to 1967, mint marks were completely removed. That means you will not find a D, S, or any mint letter on a genuine 1967 quarter. The government did this to discourage hoarding and to create uniformity. So if you ever see a 1967 quarter with a mint mark, pay attention. It may be altered, or in extremely rare cases, part of a fascinating mint error story. Most 1967 quarters in circulated condition are worth face value 25 cents. But the magic happens when condition meets rarity. In coin collecting, condition is graded on a scale from 1 to 70. A coin graded MS-67 or higher, meaning mint state with nearly flawless surfaces, can command impressive prices. The higher the grade, the fewer the coins that exist in that condition. Now imagine a 1967 quarter struck perfectly, never circulated, preserved for decades in pristine condition. Add to that a rare mint error, perhaps a double die, a struck-through error, or even a wrong planchet strike. Suddenly, you are no longer holding pocket change. You are holding a collectible treasure that serious numismatists compete for at auction. There have been rare cases where transitional errors occurred, coins struck on leftover silver planchets from 1964. These are incredibly rare and extremely valuable. A genuine 1967 quarter accidentally struck on a 90% silver blank could sell for tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on verification and grading. The key to identifying value is weight. A standard 1967 clad quarter weighs approximately 5.67 grams. A silver quarter would weigh around 6.25 grams. That difference may seem small, but to collectors, it's everything. One small scale could change your life. Another factor is eye appeal. Luster, strike sharpness, and surface preservation all matter. Coins stored in original mint sets often survive in better condition. Some 1967 special mint set quarters display stunning mirror-like surfaces and satin finishes. These special strikes were not proof coins, but they were produced with extra care. High-grade examples from these sets can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, but let's talk about the dream number. $787,976.49. That kind of price would require perfection, rarity, and intense auction competition. It would likely involve an extremely rare error, authenticated by top grading companies, and presented at a major auction event. When wealthy collectors battle for a single unique specimen, prices can explode beyond expectations. Coin collecting is not just about metal. It is about history frozen in time. When you hold a 1967 quarter, you are holding a piece of 1960s America, the era of space exploration, cultural revolution, and economic change. That small coin passed through countless hands. It may have bought gasoline, groceries, or a newspaper decades ago. And today, it might sit quietly in a jar, waiting to be rediscovered. The market for collectible coins continues to grow. Online auctions, coin shows, and global collector networks have made rare coins more accessible than ever. What once required insider connections can now be researched and verified with professional grading and authentication services. And while we are talking about rare coins, we cannot ignore another legend of American coinage, the Lincoln cent, often called the Lincoln penny. First introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln, this coin has produced some of the most valuable error coins in history. Certain rare Lincoln cents have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars due to wrong metal strikes, double dies, and extreme scarcity. Just like the 1967 quarter, the value of any coin depends on three powerful factors: rarity, condition, and demand. Remove one of those, and value drops. Combine all three, and history turns into fortune. Imagine checking your pocket change tonight. Imagine finding a perfectly preserved 1967 quarter. Imagine weighing it and discovering it matches silver weight. Imagine sending it for grading and receiving confirmation of a rare transitional error. That single moment could transform your financial future. At Coins, we believe treasure hunting begins at home. Before you dismiss your spare change, examine it. Look closely at the date. Study the surfaces. Learn the weight. Knowledge is power in the world of numismatics, and remember, even if you never find $1 million quarter, you are still connecting with American history. Every coin tells a story. Every scratch marks a journey. Every preserved example represents a survivor of time. The 1967 quarter may appear ordinary. But within ordinary objects sometimes lies extraordinary potential. That is the beauty of coin collecting. That is the excitement. That is the hunt. That if you love discovering hidden value, if you enjoy history mixed with possibility, and if you want to learn how everyday coins can be worth far more than their face value, stay connected with coins. Because the next life-changing discovery might already be in your pocket. And always remember, the difference between 25 cents and hundreds of thousands of dollars could be as small as a single gram of metal, a flawless surface, or a rare mint mistake waiting to be found. Today's story is going to blow your mind. Welcome to Coins, the channel where history meets treasure, and small change can turn into big fortune. Imagine holding a simple $quarter coin in your hand. Just 25 cents, right? Maybe something you use for snacks or parking. But what if I told you that some $quarter, especially certain 1971 issues, have sold for shocking amounts in today's market? And what if the next valuable coin is sitting quietly inside your wallet right now? The $quarter has been part of American life since 1796. Over the decades, it has carried different designs, metals, and mint marks. One of the most recognized designs is the Washington quarter, first introduced in 1932 to honor President George Washington. By 1971, the quarter was already being struck in a copper-nickel clad composition, no longer made of silver as it was before 1965. Many people assume that because it's not silver, it cannot be valuable. That assumption is where collectors find opportunity. The 1971 Washington quarter was minted in three main locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins from Philadelphia in that year had no mint mark. Denver coins carry a small d mint mark. San Francisco coins were often proof coins, struck with extra detail and mirror-like surfaces for collectors. Now here's where things get interesting. While millions of 1971 quarters were produced, not all of them are equal. Condition is everything in the coin market. A regular circulated 1971 quarter might only be worth face value. But an uncirculated example in high mint state condition can bring significantly more. Coins graded MS65, MS66, or higher by professional grading services can sell for much higher prices depending on demand and appeal. Error coins are where the real excitement begins. Some 1971 quarters were struck with minting mistakes. These include double die errors, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and dramatic die breaks. A genuine double die obverse, where the lettering appears slightly doubled, can command strong premiums. Collectors are always hunting for clean, well-defined error examples. Proof coins from San Francisco are another story. A deep cameo proof with strong contrast between frosted design and mirror background can be highly desirable. If preserved perfectly without scratches or haze, such a coin could sell for impressive prices in today's collector market. You may have heard shocking numbers like $787,976.48 associated with rare coins. While that specific figure sounds dramatic, it reflects a truth in the coin world. Rare, high-grade, or historically unique coins have sold for hundreds of thousands or even millions at major auctions. While a standard 1971 quarter has not reached that exact number in normal market conditions, certain ultra-rare mint errors across U.S. coinage history have achieved extraordinary results. The key is rarity plus demand plus condition. When talking about valuable coins, we cannot ignore the legendary Lincoln penny. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it became the first regular U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. Some Lincoln pennies are among the most valuable coins ever discovered in pocket change. The 1909 SVDB is one of the most famous early rarities. The 1914 D is another key date that collectors chase aggressively. The 1922 No D penny, where the Denver Mint mark is missing due to a die issue, is highly sought after. The 1931 S is scarce due to low mintage during the Great Depression, but the most famous Lincoln penny of all is the 1943 copper cent. During World War II, pennies were supposed to be made of steel to save copper for the war effort. However, a few copper planchets accidentally remained in the presses. These rare 1943 copper cents have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and in some cases over $1 million depending on condition and authentication. Another incredible Lincoln penny is the 1955 double die obverse. The date and lettering appear dramatically doubled, clearly visible to the naked eye. This error coin is one of the most popular and valuable error coins in American history. In more modern times, even coins from the 1970s and 1980s can be valuable if they have strong errors or exceptional condition. The 1972 double die penny is another example. The 1983 double die reverse penny shows strong doubling on the reverse lettering. These coins prove that treasure does not always come from the distant past. Coming back to the 1971 quarter, collectors look carefully at strike quality. Many coins from that era were weakly struck, especially on Washington's hair details. A sharply struck example with full detail is much harder to find than most people think. Combine that with brilliant luster and no marks, and you suddenly have a coin worth far more than 25 cents. Current market value always depends on grading. Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company are two major grading companies that authenticate and grade coins. A certified high-grade example can sell at auction for hundreds or even thousands of dollars if it ranks among the finest known. The coin market changes constantly. Demand rises when new collectors enter the hobby. Social media and YouTube have created a new generation of coin hunters searching through rolls of quarters and pennies hoping to find hidden gems. Some collectors specialize in mint errors. Others focus on key dates. Some build complete year sets in top condition. What makes coins so exciting is that they are small pieces of history you can actually hold. A 1971 quarter was used during a time of major change in America. The Vietnam War era. The early space program years. The presidency of Richard Nixon. Every coin carries silent stories from the hands that once held it. If you are searching for valuable quarters or rare Lincoln pennies, here are some important tips. Always check the date carefully. Look for mint marks. Examine the coin under good lighting. Use a magnifying glass to inspect for doubling or unusual features. Never clean your coins, because cleaning can destroy value instantly. Store them in protective holders to prevent scratches. Some people ignore modern coins thinking they are too common. But history shows that overlooked coins today can become key rarities tomorrow, especially in high grade. Low mintage alone does not always guarantee value. Survival rate in top condition matters even more. The difference between a coin worth 25 cents and a coin worth thousands can be a tiny detail that most people miss. That is why education is power in the world of coin collecting. The more you learn, the more treasure you can recognize. At Coins, we explore hidden value in everyday money. We uncover rare quarters, legendary Lincoln pennies, mint errors, and auction records that shock the world. Whether you are a beginner or an advanced collector, the hunt never stops. So next time you receive a 1971 quarter in change, do not just spend it without looking. Flip it over. Check the mint mark. Study the details. Because in the world of coin collecting, ordinary change can become extraordinary wealth. Subscribe to Coins for more deep dives into rare coin history, current market values, hidden errors, and stories of coins worth far more than their face value. Your next fortune might already be in your pocket. Today's story will absolutely blow your mind. Welcome to Coins, the channel where small change can turn into life-changing money. Imagine holding a simple $quarter in your hand, a coin most people spend without even looking. Now imagine that same quarter being worth thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Sounds unbelievable? Stay with me. Let's travel back to 1973. The United States was going through economic changes, inflation pressures, and the world of coin collecting was heating up. In 1973, the famous Washington quarter was already a well-established design, originally introduced in 1932 to honor George Washington. The obverse shows Washington's left-facing profile, strong and dignified. The reverse, at that time, featured the powerful eagle design that had been used since 1932. By 1973, quarters were no longer made of silver for circulation. After 1965, the United States switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition. So your 1973 quarter is typically made of a copper core sandwiched between nickel layers. But here's where it gets interesting. Not all 1973 quarters are equal. The 1973 quarter was minted in 3 major locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Philadelphia coins from that year carry no mint mark. Denver coins have a small D mint mark. San Francisco produced proof coins, marked with an S. Proof coins were specially made for collectors, struck with polished dies and planchets to create mirror-like surfaces. Now you might be asking, what is the current market value of a 1973 quarter? In most circulated conditions, a regular 1973 quarter from Philadelphia or Denver is worth only face value, 25 cents. But in uncirculated condition, especially high-grade examples graded MS65 or higher, the value can rise to $10, $20, $50, or more depending on appeal and demand. But here's where the real excitement begins. Rare errors and high-grade examples can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Coins with double die errors, off-center strikes, or struck on wrong planchets can command serious premiums. Some superb gem-quality examples graded MS67 or above have sold at auction for thousands, and then there are proof coins. A 1973 S-proof quarter in deep cameo condition, perfectly preserved, can sell for $20 to $100 or more. But ultra-high grade proof coins graded PR70, the absolute perfect grade, can bring even higher prices depending on the market. Now let's talk about current market trends. The coin market fluctuates based on collector demand, precious metal prices, and rarity. Although the 1973 quarter is not silver, collectors pay big money for condition rarity. A coin that looks ordinary to one person could be a treasure to another if it has sharp strikes, no contact marks, and blazing luster. But what about those viral claims you see online? People talk about quarters worth $787,976.47. Is that real? In the world of rare coins, yes, coins can reach extraordinary prices. However, those extreme values usually apply to ultra-rare historical pieces, early silver coins, unique mint errors, or coins with extremely low survival numbers. A standard 1973 quarter would not normally reach such a number unless it had an extraordinary and unique minting error or was part of a one-of-a-kind discovery. Now let's shift to one of the most legendary coins in American collecting history, the Lincoln penny. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical person. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln cent quickly became one of the most collected coins in the world. Rare Lincoln pennies have shocked the world with their values. The 1909 SVDB penny, with limited mintage, is one of the most famous key dates. The 1914 D is another highly valuable coin. The 1922 No D penny is legendary because it was struck without a visible mint mark due to die issues. But perhaps the most famous of all is the 1943 bronze Lincoln cent. In 1943, due to World War II, pennies were supposed to be made of steel coated in zinc to save copper for the war effort. However, a few bronze planchets were accidentally used. These rare 1943 bronze pennies are among the most valuable coins in American history, selling for hundreds of thousands and even over $1 million at auction. Imagine finding one of those in your pocket change. That's why coin collecting is so exciting. Every coin tells a story. Every date and mint mark matters. Every small detail could mean the difference between 1 cent and life-changing money. Back to the quarter dollar. When examining a 1973 quarter, look closely at the mint mark. Check for doubling in the letters and numbers. Inspect the edges for silver coloration, which could indicate a wrong planchet error. Use a magnifying glass to examine the details in Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers. The sharper the detail, the higher the potential grade. Condition is everything in modern coins. A coin graded MS-67 is exponentially rarer than one graded MS-63. That tiny difference in surface marks and luster can mean hundreds or thousands of dollars. Coin grading companies like PCGS and NGC authenticate and grade coins, sealing them in protective holders. Certified coins often sell for more because buyers trust the grade and authenticity. The current coin market remains strong, especially for rare error coins and high-grade modern issues. Collectors are constantly searching for the next big discovery. Social media and YouTube have fueled a new generation of collectors checking their pocket change daily. Could a 1973 quarter really be worth a fortune? In normal condition, no. But in extraordinary condition or with a rare mint error, it could be worth far more than 25 cents. And that possibility keeps the hunt alive. The beauty of coin collecting is that anyone can start. You don't need expensive equipment. You just need curiosity, patience, and attention to detail. Check your change. Look through old jars. Search inherited collections. Treasure could be hiding in plain sight, and remember, the value of a coin depends on rarity, demand, condition, and historical significance. A coin tied to an important moment in history, or produced in extremely limited numbers, will always attract serious collectors. From the humble 1973 quarter to the legendary rare Lincoln penny, coins connect us to history. They pass through countless hands, travel across generations, and sometimes carry secrets worth thousands or even millions. So next time you see a quarter dollar dated 1973, don't just spend it. Look at it. Study it. Because in the world of coins, small details can mean big money. This is Coins, where history meets hidden treasure, and every coin has a story waiting to be discovered. Keep searching, keep collecting, and who knows, your next coin could change your life forever. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating pieces of American pocket change history, the 1977 quarter dollar coin. At first glance it may look like an ordinary coin that many people have spent without even thinking twice, but what if I told you that some 1,977 quarters in today's current market are worth far more than 25 cents? In rare conditions and special varieties, their value can climb into hundreds, thousands, and in extraordinary cases collectors speculate values reaching into the hundreds of thousands depending on rarity, condition, and demand. The 1977 quarter is part of the famous Washington Quarter series. The obverse features the powerful portrait of George Washington, originally designed by John Flanagan. The Washington Quarter series began in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. Since then, it has become one of the most recognized coins in United States history. By 1977, the design was still the classic pre-statehood reverse, showing the eagle with outstretched wings on the back, a bold and patriotic symbol that defined American coinage for decades. In 1977, quarters were minted at 3 major United States mint facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins from Philadelphia traditionally had no mint mark during that era. Denver coins carried the D mint mark. San Francisco produced proof coins marked with an S. Each mint location plays a crucial role in determining current market value. The standard 1977 quarter is composed of a copper core with outer layers of cupronickel. It weighs 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. Millions upon millions were produced, which is why most 1,977 quarters in circulated condition are only worth face value. But the story does not end there. Collectors know that condition is everything. A 1977 quarter graded MS-65 or higher by professional grading services can sell for significantly more than face value. In pristine mint state condition with strong luster, sharp strike, and no visible marks, these coins can sell for hundreds of dollars. Proof versions from San Francisco, especially deep cameo examples, are even more desirable. Now let us talk about the real excitement. Errors. Mint errors are where ordinary coins become extraordinary treasures. In 1977, several types of mint errors have been discovered. Off-center strikes, double strikes, clipped planchets, wrong planchet errors, and even dramatic die breaks. Some error quarters have sold for thousands of dollars depending on the severity and uniqueness of the mistake. A dramatic off-center 1977 quarter in high-grade condition could easily command 4-figure prices in today's market. There have also been discussions in the coin collecting community about transitional planchet errors from the 1970s era. While extremely rare, any verified wrong metal strike from that period would instantly skyrocket in value. Collectors are always searching for these hidden gems in pocket change. The current market for 1977 quarters depends on demand trends, silver price influence. Even though regular 1977 quarters are not silver, grading population reports, and auction records. As of recent years, average circulated examples remain at face value. Mint state examples range from a few dollars to several $100s depending on grade. High-grade certified specimens have reached over $1,000 at auction when demand spikes. The proof 1977s quarter is also popular among collectors building proof sets. Standard proof coins usually sell between $5 to $15 depending on condition. However, deep cameo high-grade proofs graded PR70 can sell for significantly higher amounts because of their flawless surfaces and mirror-like finish. Coin collecting is not only about metal. It is about history. When you hold a 1977 quarter, you are holding a piece of America during the late 1970s. A time of economic change, cultural shifts, and political transitions. Every scratch, every mark tells a story of circulation through countless hands, stores, and moments in history. Now let us shift attention to another legend in the coin world, the Lincoln penny. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It became the first United States coin to feature a real historical figure. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin changed American coin design forever. Certain Lincoln pennies are among the most valuable coins ever discovered in circulation. The 1909 SVDB is one of the most famous key dates. The 1914 D is another treasure that collectors hunt passionately. And then there is the legendary 1943 copper penny. During World War II, pennies were supposed to be made of steel coated with zinc to conserve copper for the war effort. However, a few copper planchets were accidentally used, creating one of the rarest and most valuable coins in American history. Authentic examples have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and in some cases over $1 million depending on condition. There is also the 1955 double die penny, famous for its dramatic doubling visible to the naked eye. This coin remains one of the most iconic error coins ever produced. High-grade examples can sell for thousands to tens of thousands of dollars. In recent years, even modern Lincoln cents have surprised collectors. Certain 1990s and 2000s errors, including double dies and close AM varieties, have generated significant excitement in the hobby. The thrill of finding a rare penny in everyday change keeps millions of collectors searching daily. The coin market today is stronger than ever. Online auctions, grading services, and global collectors have transformed the industry. Coins once overlooked are now being re-examined carefully. Social media and video platforms have introduced a new generation to the excitement of coin hunting. Imagine finding a rare 1977 quarter error worth thousands. Imagine discovering a key date Lincoln penny hidden in an old jar. These stories are real. They happen. And they continue to inspire collectors worldwide. The value of any coin ultimately depends on rarity, demand, condition, authenticity, and timing. A coin that seems common today could become highly desirable tomorrow. That is why knowledge is power in coin collecting. Understanding mint marks, grading standards, die varieties, and market trends can turn a simple hobby into a potentially rewarding investment journey. Always examine your coins carefully. Look for sharp details. Check mint marks. Weigh suspicious pieces. Compare with verified examples. Consider professional grading for coins that appear special. Authentication is critical, especially for high-value coins. The world of quarters and pennies is full of hidden history and hidden wealth. The 1977 quarter may look ordinary, but under the right conditions it can be a valuable collectible. The Lincoln penny, small and humble, has produced some of the most valuable coins in history. Every coin tells a story. Every year has a mystery. And every collector has a dream of finding that one rare piece worth a fortune. If you love coins, if you love history, if you love the thrill of treasure hunting, then you are in the right place. This is Coins, where pocket change becomes priceless history. Keep searching, keep learning, and always check your change. You never know when the next rare discovery could be in your hands. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and misunderstood coins in American history, the 1979 quarter dollar. Many collectors ask the same question: can a simple 25-cent coin really be worth hundreds, thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars? Some listings online show unbelievable prices like $787,976.45, and that makes people curious. Is it real? Is it possible? Or is it just hype? Let's explore the truth, the history, the rare errors, the hidden value, and what makes certain quarter dollars explode in price while others stay at face value. First, a little history. The quarter dollar most people know from 1979 is part of the Washington Quarter series. The obverse features George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. This iconic design first appeared in 1932 to honor Washington's 200th birthday. By 1979, the design was already decades old, but it remained a strong symbol of American currency. In 1979, quarters were struck at multiple mint facilities, including the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. The 1979 D quarter was produced at the Denver Mint, and the small D mint mark appears on the obverse near Washington's ponytail. Millions upon millions were minted. In fact, over 489 million 1979 D quarters were produced. That's a huge number. And when mintage is high, rarity becomes the key factor in value. Now here is where things get interesting. Even though the mintage is high, condition is everything in coin collecting. A circulated 1979 D quarter is usually worth only face value, 25 cents. Maybe 50 cents in slightly better shape. But if the coin is in uncirculated condition, especially in mint state 65 or higher, the value starts to increase. In mint state 65, a 1979 D quarter might sell for $10 to $20. In MS 66, maybe $40 to $70. But in extremely high grades like MS 67 or MS 68, the price can jump dramatically because very few coins survive in perfect condition. Collectors pay for perfection, but perfection alone is not what creates massive value. Errors do. Error coins are where the real excitement begins. The 1979 D quarter can become valuable if it has rare mint errors. These include off-center strikes, double die errors, broad strikes, clipped planchets, or wrong planchet strikes. Imagine finding a 1979 D quarter that was struck 20% off-center. That coin could sell for $100 to $300 depending on the severity and condition. A dramatic off-center error with full date visible could be even more valuable. Now let's talk about double die errors. A double die occurs when the die used to strike the coin has a doubled image due to misalignment during manufacturing. If you see strong doubling in the lettering or date under magnification, that coin can become highly collectible. Another major factor is being struck on the wrong metal planchet. If somehow a quarter was struck on a nickel planchet or a foreign planchet, the value could skyrocket into the thousands because of rarity. But what about claims of values like $787, $976.45? Here is the truth. Most online listings showing extreme prices are not actual sale results. Many sellers list coins at unrealistic prices hoping someone uninformed will pay it. The real value depends on certified auction sales, not asking prices. That if a 1979 D quarter were to sell near hundreds of thousands of dollars, it would need to be a one-of-a-kind mint error in pristine condition, professionally graded by services like PCGS or NGC. Without certification, it is nearly impossible to reach such extreme values. Now let's connect this with another famous coin, the rare Lincoln penny. The Lincoln cent series began in 1909, designed by Victor David Brenner. One of the most famous rare coins in American history is the 1909 South VDB Lincoln Center. Only 484,000 were minted, and collectors go crazy for it. Even more famous is the 1943 copper Lincoln penny. During World War II, pennies were supposed to be made from steel coated with zinc to conserve copper for the war effort. However, a few copper blanks were accidentally used. Those rare 1943 copper pennies have sold for over $1 million at auction. This shows an important lesson in coin collecting. It is not just about the year. It is about rarity, condition, mint mark, and errors. The same principle applies to the 1979 D quarter. Most are common. But a rare error in perfect condition? That is where the money lives. When checking your coin, look closely at the mint mark. Make sure it is clearly stamped and not altered. Counterfeit mint marks exist. Always weigh the coin. A standard clad quarter from 1979 should weigh 5.67 grams. If the weight is significantly off, it could be a wrong planchet error, or damage. Check the edges. A normal quarter has a reeded edge. If the reeds are missing or partial due to a mint error, that could add value. Use a magnifying glass or microscope. Examine the lettering in United States of America and Liberty. Look for doubling or unusual spacing. Condition grading is also critical. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale. MS-70 is perfect with no flaws visible even under magnification. Very few coins ever reach this grade. The higher the grade, the higher the price. Many collectors send coins to grading companies for authentication. Professional grading adds trust and often increases value because buyers know the coin has been verified. Let's talk about demand. The quarter dollar is one of the most collected coins in America. After the state quarters program launched in 1999, millions of new collectors entered the hobby. That increased overall interest in quarters, including older Washington quarters like the 1979 D. However, because the 1979 D quarter was produced in such high numbers, only exceptional examples are worth serious money. Sometimes, people confuse the 1979 quarter with the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar. That coin also carries the year 1979 and sometimes creates confusion among beginners. But they are completely different coins. The key takeaway is this: not every old coin is valuable. Age alone does not equal wealth. Rarity plus condition plus demand equals value. If you believe you have a rare 1979 D quarter, do not clean it. Cleaning destroys value instantly. Collectors prefer original surfaces, Even if slightly toned, store coins in protective holders. Keep them away from moisture and scratches. Preservation is essential. The dream of finding a rare coin in pocket change is what keeps collectors searching every day. And sometimes, it really happens. Rare error coins have been discovered in circulation years after being minted. Imagine checking your change and spotting a dramatic error. That is the thrill of numismatics. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises. From the legendary 1943 copper Lincoln penny to high-grade Washington quarters, history hides in small metal discs that pass through our hands daily. So next time you see a 1979 D quarter, do not ignore it. Examine it carefully. Look for sharp details in Washington's hair. Look for strong luster. Look for unusual features. You might just discover something special, but remember, real market value comes from verified sales, not internet hype. Stay curious. Stay searching. Because sometimes, treasure is hiding in plain sight. This is Coins, where history meets hidden value, and every coin has a story. Today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and misunderstood coins in American pocket change history, the 1984 P quarter dollar. A coin most people have seen, many have spent, and very few truly understand. And here's the big question everyone wants answered: could a simple 1984 P quarter really be worth $787,976.44? Stay with me, because what you're about to hear might change the way you look at every coin in your pocket forever. The 1984 P quarter is part of the Washington Quarter series, one of the longest-running coin designs in United States history. The obverse features George Washington, the first President of the United States, a design originally created by sculptor John Flanagan in 1932 to celebrate Washington's 200th birthday. That design remained in circulation for decades, making it one of the most recognizable coin portraits in the world. In 1984, these quarters were produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which is indicated by the small P mint mark located just to the right of Washington's ponytail on the obverse. Prior to 1980, Philadelphia coins did not carry a mint mark, so by 1984, the presence of the P was already standard. Millions upon millions of these coins were struck, over 600 million pieces, which means at first glance, this coin appears common. And in most cases, it is, but here's where things get exciting. Even though the mintage was massive, certain examples of the 1984 P quarter are worth far more than 25 cents. In fact, under very specific conditions, they can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The value depends heavily on condition, grading, and most importantly, errors. Let's talk about condition first. Most 1984 P quarters found in circulation are heavily worn. You'll see flat details on Washington's hair, dull luster, scratches, and contact marks. These are worth face value, just 25 cents. But when you move into uncirculated territory, things change dramatically. A coin graded MS-65 by a professional grading service can sell for $15 to $25. At MS-66, prices can climb to $50 or more. And at MS-67, the price can jump into the hundreds. Why? Because finding a coin from 1984 in pristine condition is surprisingly difficult. The coins were mass-produced, handled in bulk, and stored in bags where they banged against each other. High-grade survivors are rare. Now let's talk about errors, and this is where serious money enters the conversation. Some 1984 P quarters were struck with dramatic mint errors. Off-center strikes, double strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, and die cracks all add value. But one of the most talked about possibilities is a double die error. While not extremely common for this year, any verified double die showing clear doubling in the lettering or date can bring strong collector interest. There are also coins struck on wrong planchets. Imagine a quarter accidentally struck on a nickel planchet or even a foreign blank. These transitional errors can command thousands of dollars at auction. Collectors love mint mistakes because they are unique, and uniqueness drives price. Another factor that can push value sky high is being in an extremely high grade combined with exceptional eye appeal. Deep, blazing luster. Sharp strike. No contact marks. Perfect surfaces. When a coin reaches elite grades like MS67 Plus or higher and becomes one of the finest known examples, bidding wars can happen. While a standard 1984 P quarter has not officially sold for $787,976.44 in public auction records, ultra-rare coins in similar categories, especially with major mint errors, have reached extraordinary prices. The key word is rarity.so. If you're searching through your change, what should you look for? First, check the mint mark. Make sure it's a P for Philadelphia. Next, examine the date closely under magnification. Look for doubling. Check the lettering of Liberty and In God We Trust. Inspect the edges for abnormalities. Weigh the coin if possible. A normal clad quarter weighs 5.67 grams. If it weighs significantly more or less, you might have something unusual, and don't forget about silver confusion. By 1984, quarters were no longer made of silver for circulation. Silver quarters ended in 1964 for regular issues. However, special proof coins and certain collector versions can contain silver. A 1984 quarter found in circulation will almost always be copper-nickel clad, but if you ever see a solid silver edge with no copper stripe, investigate further. Now let's connect this to the broader world of rare coins and big money. When collectors talk about quarters worth a lot of money, they often mention legendary pieces like the 1932 D Washington quarter or the 1932 S Washington quarter, which were low mintage key dates. Others talk about the famous 1970 S quarter struck over a 1941 Canadian quarter. These coins have sold for tens of thousands of dollars. Extreme rarity plus strong demand equals massive value. This brings us to another coin that often creates excitement, the rare Lincoln penny. The Lincoln cent series began in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. Over the decades, certain Lincoln pennies have become legendary. The 1909 SVDB penny is one of the most famous. With a low mintage and controversy over the designer's initials VDB on the reverse, it quickly became a collector favorite. Even in worn condition, it can be worth hundreds of dollars. In mint state, thousands. Then there's the 1914 D Lincoln cent. Another key date. Hard to find. Highly valuable, but perhaps the most famous of all is the 1943 copper Lincoln penny. During World War II, pennies were supposed to be made from steel coated in zinc to save copper for the war effort. However, a few copper blanks were accidentally left in the presses and struck with the 1943 date. These coins are among the rarest and most valuable U.S. coins ever discovered. One example has sold for over $1 million. Imagine finding something like that in your pocket change. That's why collectors search rolls, coin jars, estate sales, and bank boxes every single day. Because history shows us that rare treasures sometimes hide in plain sight, the excitement around a possible $787,976 quarter reflects the dream that any ordinary coin could turn out to be extraordinary. While realistic market values for most 1984 P quarters range from 25 cents to perhaps a few $100s in top condition, the world of mint errors and ultra-high grades keeps the dream alive. The coin market itself fluctuates based on demand, grading populations, and collector interest. Auction houses, private sales, and certified grading companies all play major roles in determining final sale prices. When two determined collectors compete for the finest known example of a coin, the sky can be the limit. So what should you do if you think you have a valuable 1984 P quarter? Handle it carefully. Do not clean it. Cleaning destroys value instantly. Store it in a protective holder. Consider sending it to a professional grading service for authentication and grading. Documentation and certification can dramatically increase buyer confidence. The same rules apply to rare Lincoln pennies. Never polish. Never scratch. Preserve the original surface. At coins, we believe knowledge is power. The more you understand about mint marks, errors, grading, and history, the better your chances of spotting something valuable. Every scratch tells a story. Every date represents a moment in time. Every mint mark points to a different production facility: Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, and remember, value isn't only about money. Coins connect us to history. A 1984 quarter carries the legacy of George Washington. A Lincoln penny carries the legacy of Abraham Lincoln. These are pieces of American heritage that pass through millions of hands, but yes, sometimes they are also worth serious cash. So tonight, before you spend your spare change, take a closer look. Check your drawers. Search your piggy bank. Examine that old coin jar in the closet. You never know what might be waiting. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1984 P quarter and the world of rare Lincoln pennies, make sure to subscribe to Coins, hit the like button, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Because the next coin we talk about might be sitting in your pocket right now. Today we are diving deep into one of the most talked about modern coins in American history, the 1987 P quarter dollar. At first glance it may look like an ordinary coin you have seen hundreds of times. But what if I told you that some 1987 P quarters have sold for serious money, and under the right condition, rare errors and high grades can push values into thousands of dollars? Stay with me because what you are about to hear might change the way you look at your spare change forever. The 1987 P quarter dollar was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The P mint mark appears on the obverse of the coin, just to the right of George Washington's ponytail. This coin is part of the long-running Washington Quarter series that began in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. The obverse design was created by John Flanagan and features a left-facing portrait of George Washington. The reverse shows the classic eagle with spread wings, arrows in its claws, and olive branches below. Now here is where things get interesting. The 1987 P quarter had a very large mintage, over 582 million coins produced. That sounds common, and in circulated condition it absolutely is. Most 1987 P quarters in regular worn condition are only worth face value, just 25 cents. But do not stop listening yet, because the real story is in condition, rarity, and mint errors. In the 1980s, the United States Mint did not release official uncirculated mint sets for collectors in 1982 and 1983, which caused those dates to become more valuable in high grades. By 1987, mint sets returned, but many coins were still heavily used in circulation. That means finding a 1987 P quarter in perfect mint state condition today is much harder than people think. When we talk about value, condition is everything. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. A coin graded MS-60 is uncirculated but may have marks. A coin graded MS-65 is considered gem quality. But when you reach MS-67, MS-68, and above, you enter rare territory. High-grade examples certified by companies like PCGS or NGC have sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars. Some top population pieces have reached strong auction results simply because so few exist in flawless condition. Imagine pulling a quarter from your pocket that looks shiny and clean. To the untrained eye it might look perfect. But under magnification, graders examine luster, strike quality, contact marks, and eye appeal. A single tiny scratch can mean the difference between a 25-cent coin and a coin worth hundreds. Now let's talk about errors, because this is where the excitement really begins. Mint errors can dramatically increase the value of a 1987 P quarter. Off-center strikes, where the design is not fully centered on the blank, can be worth $50, $100, or more depending on how dramatic the error is. Double die errors, where the design appears doubled due to misalignment in the die creation process, can also bring strong premiums. Clipped planchets, where part of the coin is missing due to a cutting error in the metal strip, are highly collectible. Broad strikes, where the coin was struck without the retaining collar and spreads out wider than normal, are another valuable variety. There are also coins struck on the wrong planchet. Imagine a quarter accidentally struck on a nickel or foreign coin blank. These rare mint mistakes can sell for thousands of dollars at auction because of their uniqueness and collector demand. Many people online claim that the 1987 P quarter is worth $787,976.43. Let's be clear. No regular 1987 P quarter has sold anywhere near that amount. Extreme prices like that would only apply to one-of-a-kind mint errors, experimental strikes, or coins with extraordinary historical significance. However, certified high-grade coins and dramatic mint errors absolutely can be worth a lot more than face value. That is why education is power in coin collecting. The quarter dollar itself has a rich history in American commerce. First introduced in 1796, the quarter became one of the most used coins in daily transactions. Over time it has featured several designs, including the Standing Liberty Quarter and later the Washington Quarter. The Washington design remained largely unchanged until the state quarters program began in 1999, which sparked a new wave of collecting across America. Collectors today search bank rolls, coin jars, estate sales, and pocket change looking for overlooked treasures. The thrill of the hunt is part of what makes coin collecting so exciting. A single rare find can make months of searching worth it. Now let's shift for a moment to another coin that collectors love, the Lincoln penny. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it became the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical person. Over the decades, rare Lincoln pennies like the 1909 SVDB, the 1914 D, and the famous 1943 copper cent have sold for incredible prices. The 1943 copper Lincoln cent is especially legendary. During World War II, pennies were supposed to be made of steel to conserve copper for the war effort. A small number were accidentally struck in copper, and today those coins can sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars. That is the kind of story that inspires collectors everywhere. Back to the 1987 P quarter, the key to unlocking value is understanding grading and preservation. If you believe you have a high-grade coin, never clean it. Cleaning destroys original luster and can permanently reduce value. Store coins in protective holders, avoid touching the surfaces, and consider professional grading if the coin appears flawless. Auction records show that top-grade modern quarters can bring surprising prices because registry-set collectors compete fiercely for the highest-graded examples. Even one grade point difference can mean hundreds of dollars in price difference. The coin market changes based on demand, condition, rarity, precious metal prices, and collector interest. While the 1987 P quarter is not made of silver, special circumstances such as proof errors or transitional varieties could create unexpected value. Imagine checking your change tonight and discovering a sharply struck, fully lustrous 1987 P quarter with almost no marks. Under magnification it looks nearly perfect. That could be a candidate for professional grading. And if it achieves a very high grade, it might surprise you at auction. Coin collecting is not just about money. It is about history, artistry, and the thrill of discovery. Every coin has passed through countless hands, witnessing decades of American life. A simple quarter may have traveled across states, through vending machines, grocery stores, and banks before landing in your collection. On coins, we believe knowledge turns ordinary change into extraordinary opportunity. Start examining your quarters carefully. Look for strong strikes, clean fields, sharp details in Washington's hair, and bold lettering. Check the mint mark. Use a magnifying glass. Compare with graded examples online. Learn the difference between circulated and mint state coins. You never know when a rare error or exceptional condition coin might appear. The market rewards patience, research, and careful observation. While most 1987 P quarters are worth 25 cents, the rare exceptions are what make the hunt worthwhile. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1987 P quarter dollar and the fascinating world of valuable coins, make sure to subscribe to Coins, hit the notification bell, and continue learning how everyday currency can sometimes hold hidden fortune. Because the next valuable coin might already be in your pocket, waiting to be discovered. Today we are diving deep into one of the most talked about modern coins in circulation, the 1988 P quarter dollar, and along the way we are uncovering shocking truths about rare Lincoln pennies that have sold for incredible amounts of money. Stay with me because what you are about to hear could completely change the way you look at the coins in your pocket. The 1988 P quarter dollar was struck at the famous Philadelphia Mint in the United States. This coin is part of the Washington Quarter series that began in 1932 to honor the first President of the United States, George Washington. The obverse of the coin features the powerful and recognizable portrait of Washington, originally designed by John Flanagan. On the reverse, you will see the iconic eagle design that was used on quarters before the state quarter program began in 1999. In 1988, millions of quarters were produced at the Philadelphia Mint. In fact, the mintage was extremely high, meaning these coins are very common in circulation today. But here is where things get interesting. Not all 1988 P quarters are equal. Some rare error varieties and high-grade uncirculated examples can be worth far more than 25 cents. Collectors are always searching for coins in mint state condition. A 1988 P quarter graded MS65 or higher by professional grading companies can be worth significantly more than face value. In top condition, pristine examples can sell for tens or even hundreds of dollars. But the real excitement comes from error coins. There are reports of 1988 quarters struck on wrong planchets, coins with double strikes, off-center strikes, and even dramatic die cracks. These rare mint errors are highly collectible. A dramatic off-center 1988 P quarter can sell for hundreds of dollars depending on the percentage off-center and condition. Some rare error coins from the late 1980s have even reached into the thousands. Now let's talk about the shocking number you may have seen floating around online. Values like $787,976.42. Can a 1988 P quarter really be worth that much? In normal circumstances, absolutely not. A regular circulated 1988 P quarter is worth exactly 25 cents. Even uncirculated examples usually range from a few dollars to maybe $20 or $30 unless they are in extremely high grade or have a major mint error. However, the coin market is driven by rarity, demand, and condition. Unique error coins, especially those that are one of a kind, can reach astonishing prices at auction. But a standard 1988 P quarter from pocket change will not make you a millionaire. The key is knowing what to look for. Examine the coin closely. Look for doubling in the lettering, especially on "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." Check the mint mark P for any unusual shape or doubling. Inspect the rim for irregularities. Use a magnifying glass and proper lighting. Small details can mean big money. The Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest and most historic mints in the United States, has produced billions of coins over the centuries. Because of the massive production numbers in 1988, rarity is not about quantity, it is about condition and errors. Now let's shift to something even more exciting, the rare Lincoln penny. The Lincoln Cent series began in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Since then, certain Lincoln pennies have become legendary in the coin collecting world. Take for example the 1909 South VDB Lincoln Center. This coin, minted in San Francisco, had a very low mintage and features the initials VDB of designer Victor David Brenner on the reverse. High-grade examples of this coin have sold for thousands of dollars. Then there is the 1943 copper Lincoln penny. During World War II, pennies were supposed to be struck in steel to conserve copper for the war effort. But a few copper planchets were accidentally used. These rare 1943 copper pennies are among the most famous error coins in American history. Some have sold for over $1 million at auction. Another incredible rarity is the 1955 double die Lincoln penny. This coin shows dramatic doubling in the date and lettering on the obverse. It is one of the most recognizable error coins ever produced. Even in worn condition, it can be worth thousands of dollars. In mint state, the price climbs even higher. When people hear about rare pennies selling for hundreds of thousands or even close to $1 million, they start searching through jars of old coins at home. And that excitement is exactly what makes coin collecting so powerful. Every coin has a story. Every coin has potential. The truth about the current market is this. Coin values depend on condition, rarity, demand, and authentication. Professional grading by services like PCGS or NGC plays a major role in determining final value. A coin graded MS70 is dramatically more valuable than one graded MS60. Tiny differences in preservation can mean huge differences in price. So if you have a 1988 P quarter, do not ignore it. Check it carefully. If it is in brilliant uncirculated condition with sharp details and no scratches, it could be worth submitting for grading. If you find an unusual error, it might be worth much more than face value, and when it comes to Lincoln pennies, always look at the date and mint mark. Check for doubling. Use a magnet to test 1943 pennies. If it sticks, it is steel. If it does not, you may have something very special. But always verify with a professional before celebrating. The coin market changes over time. Prices rise and fall depending on collector interest and auction demand. What is worth a small amount today could be worth more tomorrow. Knowledge is your greatest asset in this hobby. Imagine finding a rare coin in your change that could pay off debt, fund a dream, or become a treasured family heirloom. That possibility is what keeps collectors searching every single day. At Coins, we believe every coin tells a story of history, art, and value. The 1988 P quarter may not usually be worth hundreds of thousands, but the thrill of discovery is real. And the rare Lincoln penny proves that sometimes small change can turn into life-changing money. So before you spend that quarter or penny, take a closer look. Inspect it. Research it. Protect it. Because hidden within everyday pocket change could be a piece of history worth far more than you ever imagined. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in modern American circulation, the 1989 P Washington quarter, a coin many people ignore, but collectors carefully inspect every single day. What if I told you that an ordinary quarter from 1989 could be worth far more than 25 cents? What if the right condition, the right error, or the right grading could push its value into the thousands of dollars? Stay with me because this story is more exciting than you think. The 1989 P quarter was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest and most historic mint facilities in the United States. The design features the familiar portrait of George Washington on the obverse, a design originally created by John Flanagan in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth. On the reverse, you see the classic eagle with outstretched wings, symbolizing strength and national pride. This design remained in circulation until the state quarters program began in 1999. In 1989, the Philadelphia Mint struck hundreds of millions of quarters. Because of this high mintage, most examples you find in circulation are only worth face value. But here is where things get interesting. Condition is everything in coin collecting. A 1989 P quarter that has been heavily circulated, scratched, or worn will not bring a premium. However, coins preserved in uncirculated condition, especially those graded MS65, MS66, MS67, or even higher by professional grading companies, can command serious money. Now imagine a coin graded MS67 or above. These coins are extremely rare in perfect condition because even tiny marks from the minting and bagging process reduce the grade. Collectors compete aggressively for top population coins. Auction records have shown that high-grade modern quarters can sell for thousands of dollars when registry collectors battle to own the finest known example. While most 1989 P quarters sell for a few dollars in uncirculated rolls, the absolute best examples can bring hundreds or even thousands depending on demand, but condition is not the only factor. Errors and varieties make the 1989 P quarter far more exciting. Mint errors are accidents during production. These include off-center strikes, double strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, and dramatic broad strikes. A major off-center 1989 P quarter with a clear date can sell for hundreds of dollars. A dramatic double strike can reach even higher prices depending on eye appeal. Collectors also search for die varieties. Doubling on lettering or design elements can dramatically increase value. While most 1989 P quarters show normal strike characteristics, finding strong doubling or unusual die markers can make your coin stand out. Error coins create excitement because they are unique pieces of history. They tell the story of what went wrong inside the minting press. The current market for modern quarters depends heavily on grading and rarity at the top level. Raw uncirculated examples might sell for $1 to $5. Certified MS-66 coins might range higher. MS-67 coins can jump dramatically in price. The rarest top-graded pieces can reach impressive auction numbers when demand peaks. Always check recent auction sales from major auction houses to understand the real market value because prices change based on collector interest. Now let us talk about the broader history of the Washington Quarter series. The series began in 1932 during the Great Depression. It replaced the standing Liberty Quarter and became one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. Through silver compositions from 1932 to 1964, and clad compositions from 1965 onward, the quarter has remained a backbone of American commerce. While the 1989 P quarter is clad and not silver, do not underestimate modern coins. Many collectors ignore them, which sometimes creates opportunities. High-grade survivors become scarce because few people saved rolls carefully in perfect condition. Over time, population reports from grading services show how rare certain grades truly are. Now let us connect this to something even more thrilling, the rare Lincoln penny. The Lincoln cent series began in 1909 and has produced some of the most famous rarities in American numismatics. Coins like the 1909 SVDB, the 1914 D, and the legendary 1955 double die are worth significant money. Even modern Lincoln cents with strong errors or exceptional grades can reach surprising values. Collectors love the Lincoln cent because it combines history, affordability, and the possibility of rare discoveries. Imagine finding a double-die Lincoln penny worth thousands of dollars in your change jar. It has happened before, and it can happen again. The excitement in coin collecting comes from knowledge. The more you learn, the more valuable your finds can become. Many people overlook their coins, but serious collectors examine every detail. Look at the mint mark. Look at the strike quality. Check for doubling. Inspect the edges. Preserve your coins carefully. Never clean them because cleaning destroys value instantly. When we talk about massive numbers like hundreds of thousands or even more, remember that extreme auction results usually apply to extraordinary rarities or perfect condition coins. A normal circulated 1989 P quarter will not reach those numbers. But a spectacular error or a top-graded registry coin can surprise the market. Always separate hype from verified auction data. The coin market is driven by supply and demand. When collector demand increases and supply of top-quality examples remains tiny, prices rise. When demand cools, prices stabilize. That is why staying updated with market trends is important for any collector or investor. Philadelphia minted the 1989 P quarter without a mint mark before 1980, but by 1989, the P mint mark appears clearly on the obverse next to Washington's ponytail. Always verify authenticity because altered coins exist in the marketplace. Some people attempt to modify coins to fake rare varieties. Buy certified coins from reputable dealers when investing significant money. The beauty of coin collecting is that anyone can start. You do not need to be wealthy. You only need curiosity and patience. Every coin tells a story. The 1989 P quarter represents late 20th century America, circulating through millions of hands, witnessing economic changes, technological advances, and daily life transactions. As you build your collection, consider proper storage. Use coin flips, albums, or certified slabs. Keep coins away from humidity and harsh environments. Preservation protects value. If you enjoyed this deep exploration into the 1989 P Washington quarter and the fascinating world of rare Lincoln pennies, make sure you subscribe to Coins for more incredible discoveries. The next valuable coin could be hiding in your pocket right now. Check your change carefully. Study every detail. Because in the world of coin collecting, ordinary change can sometimes become extraordinary treasure. Today we are diving deep into one of the most searched and talked about American coins, the 1991 P quarter dollar, and the mystery around its current market value. Many people believe this coin could be worth an unbelievable $787,976, and in this video script we are going to uncover the real history, the facts, the rare errors, and the truth about its value in today's market. The 1991 quarter dollar was minted in the historic United States at the famous United States Mint, specifically at the Philadelphia Mint. The letter P on the coin stands for Philadelphia, one of the main minting facilities in America. In 1991, the design featured the legendary first president of the United States, George Washington, on the obverse side. This portrait has been a symbol of American strength and heritage since 1932, when the Washington quarter was first introduced. In 1991, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 570 million quarter coins. That is a huge number. Because of this high mintage, most 1991 quarters you find in circulation are only worth face value, which is 25 cents. Yes, just $0.25. But here is where the story becomes interesting. While common circulated coins are not rare, certain versions of the 1991 quarter can be extremely valuable under specific conditions. Collectors look for coins in mint state condition. If your 1991 quarter has never been used, has no scratches, no wear, and still has its original luster, it could be graded by professional grading companies like Professional Coin Grading Service or Numismatic Guarantee Company. If the coin receives a very high grade such as MS67 or MS68, the value can jump significantly. Some high-grade examples have sold for hundreds of dollars, sometimes even more depending on demand and auction competition. Now let us talk about errors. Error coins are where the real money is. In 1991 quarters, collectors search for off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, wrong planchet errors, and die cracks. A dramatic off-center strike could make a common coin suddenly worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. A double die error, where the design appears double due to misalignment during minting, can also bring strong prices. But what about the claim that a 1991 quarter is worth $787,976? That number sounds shocking. In reality, there has been no verified public sale of a regular 1991 quarter anywhere near that price. However, in the world of rare coins, unique mint errors or experimental strikes can reach extraordinary values if they are one of a kind. For example, extremely rare coins like the 1933 Double Eagle have sold for millions, but those are completely different historical pieces. The key lesson here is understanding the difference between hype and verified auction records. Many online posts exaggerate values to attract attention. Always check real auction platforms and grading reports before believing extreme price claims. Now let us shift for a moment to another coin that collectors absolutely love: the Lincoln penny. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 featuring President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. Certain Lincoln pennies are worth life-changing money. The 1909 SVDB, the 1914 D, the 1922 No D, and the famous 1955 Double Die are examples of coins that can be worth thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars depending on condition. When it comes to rare Lincoln pennies, condition and mint mark are everything. A small letter under the date such as S for San Francisco or D for Denver can completely change the value. A common penny could be worth 1 cent, but a rare variation could pay for a car or even a house. Back to the 1991 quarter. If you have rolls of old quarters stored away, it is still worth checking them carefully. Use a magnifying glass. Look at the date. Look for doubling in the letters In God We Trust and Liberty. Examine the edge for copper exposure, which might indicate an error. Weigh the coin if possible. A normal clad quarter should weigh 5.67 grams. Any major difference could signal a minting mistake. The current market value for a normal circulated 1991 quarter remains 25 cents. Uncirculated examples may sell for $1 to $5. High-graded examples could reach $50 to several $100. Exceptional error coins can go much higher depending on rarity and demand. But reaching nearly $800,000 would require an extraordinary and unique minting error never seen before. Coin collecting is not just about money. It is about history. Each coin carries the story of the year it was made. In 1991, the world was changing. The early 1990s marked a new era in global politics and technology. These quarters circulated through countless hands, stores, cities, and states across America. If you are serious about coin collecting, invest in knowledge first. Study grading scales. Understand mint marks. Learn how to store coins properly in protective holders to prevent damage. Never clean your coins because cleaning can reduce value dramatically. The world of coins is full of surprises. Sometimes people discover rare treasures in pocket change, old jars, inherited collections, or bank rolls. While most 1991p quarters are common, the thrill of searching keeps collectors motivated. On this channel Coins we explore real facts, real values, and real history. We separate myth from reality and help you understand what your coins are truly worth in today's market. Always remember that market value changes depending on demand, condition, and collector interest. So before you spend that quarter, take a second look. It might not be worth $787,976, but if it is a rare high-grade or error example, it could still be worth far more than 25 cents. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1991p quarter dollar and rare Lincoln pennies, stay tuned for more powerful coin stories, hidden treasures, and market updates right here on Coins. Your next valuable discovery could already be in your pocket. Today we are diving deep into one of the most talked about modern coins in circulation, the 1993 quarter dollar, and we are going to uncover the truth about its current market value, its history, and whether claims of it being worth $787,976.43 could ever be real. Stay with me because what you are about to hear might change the way you look at every quarter in your wallet. The 1993 quarter is part of the famous Washington Quarter series. This iconic coin features the powerful profile of George Washington, the first President of the United States. The Washington Quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, and since then it has become one of the most collected coins in American history. By 1993, the design had already been circulating for decades, but that does not mean every coin from that year is common or worthless. The 1993 quarter was minted at the Denver Mint, which is why it carries the small d mint mark on the obverse side. In 1993, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of quarters. That sounds like a lot, and it is. High mintage usually means lower value. But condition is everything in the coin world. A heavily circulated 1993 quarter that has scratches, wear, and dull surfaces will typically only be worth its face value of 25 cents. You can still spend it at any store, and most people do without even thinking twice. However, when we talk about coins in uncirculated condition, especially those graded by professional grading companies, things start to get interesting. Coins that were never used in everyday transactions, that still have full mint luster, sharp details, and no signs of wear, can be worth more to collectors. A 1993 quarter graded MS65 or higher by a reputable grading service can sell for several dollars, sometimes even more depending on eye appeal and demand. While that might not sound life-changing, remember this, it is still many times its original 25-cent value. Now let us address the big number. $787,976.43. Could a 1993 quarter ever be worth that much? In normal circumstances, absolutely not. A regular 1993 quarter struck on copper nickel-clad planchets and released into circulation is not worth anywhere near that amount. But in the world of coin collecting, rare errors and unique minting mistakes can create unbelievable value. For example, if a quarter were accidentally struck on the wrong metal, such as a silver planchet or even a foreign coin blank, that would instantly make it extremely rare. If there were a dramatic double strike, an off-center strike, or a major die error, collectors would pay significant money for such a coin. The key is rarity plus demand plus condition. Without all three, a coin simply cannot reach extreme price levels. The composition of the 1993 quarter is copper nickel clad, meaning it has a pure copper core and outer layers made of a copper-nickel alloy. It weighs approximately 5.67 grams and has a reeded edge. These details are important because any deviation in weight or composition could signal a mint error. That is why serious collectors always recommend using a precise scale and magnification when examining coins. The reverse design of the 1993 quarter still featured the classic eagle design that was used from 1932 until 1998, before the state quarters program began in 1999. That eagle design represents strength and freedom, holding arrows and olive branches, symbolizing readiness for war and desire for peace. Many collectors love the older eagle reverse because it connects modern coins to traditional American symbolism. So, what is the realistic current market value of a 1993 D quarter today? In circulated condition, it is worth 25 cents. In brilliant uncirculated condition, it may range from $1 to $5 depending on grade. In very high mint state grades like MS-67, auction results have shown prices reaching into the hundreds of dollars. But those are extremely high-grade examples that are difficult to find. When people see huge price tags online, they often misunderstand something important. Just because someone lists a coin for hundreds of thousands of dollars does not mean it will sell for that amount. Real value is determined by completed sales, not asking prices. Always check reliable auction results before believing viral claims. Now let us compare this to another famous coin that collectors go crazy over, the Lincoln cent, also known as the Lincoln penny. Introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln, the Lincoln cent has produced some of the most valuable small coins in American history. Rare dates, mint errors, and low mintage varieties have sold for thousands and even hundreds of thousands of dollars. That is why many people dream of finding a rare Lincoln penny in pocket change, but here is the truth that serious collectors understand. Most coins are only worth face value. The real treasure comes from knowledge. When you understand mint marks, grades, errors, and historical context, you gain the power to recognize opportunity. The 1993 D quarter may not usually be worth hundreds of thousands, but under the right circumstances, with the right error, and in the right condition, it could become a highly desirable collectible. Imagine checking your change after buying something small. You pull out a quarter. You look closely. The mint mark is clear. The surfaces shine with original luster. There are no scratches, no wear, just perfection. That moment of discovery is what makes coin collecting exciting. It is like holding history in your hand. The market for coins changes over time. Demand rises when new collectors enter the hobby. Prices increase when rare high-grade examples become harder to find. Economic conditions also influence collector spending. During strong markets, premium coins can reach record prices. During slower periods, prices may stabilize. If you truly want to know whether your 1993 D quarter is special, start by examining it carefully. Look for doubling in the lettering. Look for off-center strikes. Check the edge for missing reeds. Weigh the coin. If anything seems unusual, consider having it evaluated by a professional grading service. Authentication is essential before claiming extreme value. At the end of the day, the story of the 1993 D quarter is not about guaranteed millions. It is about possibility, curiosity, and the thrill of the hunt. It represents a piece of American history minted in Denver more than 3 decades ago. It connects us to the legacy of George Washington and the enduring design of the Washington Quarter series, and that is why coins matter. They are small metal discs, but they carry stories of presidents, mints, economies, and collectors. They pass through millions of hands, unnoticed by most, treasured by a few. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1993 D quarter and its true market value, make sure you subscribe to Coins, turn on notifications, and keep checking your pocket change. Because you never know when a simple 25-cent coin could turn into something extraordinary. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and misunderstood coins in circulation, the 1997 P Washington Quarter. And trust me, by the end of this video, you may never look at your spare change the same way again. Picture this. You are counting loose coins on your table. Among them is a simple 1997 quarter with a small P mint mark. It looks ordinary. It feels ordinary. But what if I told you that some quarters from 1997 have sold for hundreds? even thousands of dollars depending on condition and errors. Yes, a coin worth just 25 cents face value could potentially be worth far more to the right collector. The 1997 P. Washington quarter was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest and most historic mints in the United States. The design features George Washington on the obverse, originally designed by John Flanagan. This classic portrait has been a symbol of American coinage since 1932. On the reverse, you see the iconic eagle with spread wings, a powerful symbol of strength and freedom that defined quarters before the state quarter program began in 1999. Now here is something important. In 1997, over 595 million quarters were struck at Philadelphia alone. That is a massive number. So you might think, how can such a common coin be worth big money? The answer is condition and errors. Most 1997 P quarters you find in circulation are only worth face value. Maybe slightly more in brilliant uncirculated condition. But when we talk about coins graded MS67 or higher by professional grading services, everything changes. In top condition with no wear, sharp strike, and strong luster, these coins can sell for hundreds of dollars. Some auction records have shown high-grade examples crossing the $1,000 mark. When demand is strong and population is low in that grade, collectors pay serious money for perfection. A 1997 P quarter graded MS68 is extremely rare because very few coins survive in that flawless condition. Even the smallest contact mark can drop the grade dramatically. That is why checking your quarters carefully under magnification is so important, and let us not forget mint errors. Error coins are where the real excitement begins. Off-center strikes, double strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, and dramatic die cracks can transform an ordinary quarter into a highly collectible piece. A 1997 P quarter with a strong off-center strike can easily bring hundreds of dollars depending on how dramatic the error is. Double die errors, where the design appears double due to misalignment during the minting process, are especially valuable when the doubling is clear and visible without magnification. Imagine finding a 1997 P quarter with a major mint error in your pocket change. That 25-cent coin could turn into a four-figure payday. That is why coin roll hunters search bank rolls every single day hoping to discover these hidden gems. Now let us talk about the broader Washington Quarter series. The Washington Quarter is one of the longest-running coin designs in United States history. From 1932 until 1998, the reverse design remained mostly the same before the state quarter program revolutionized modern coin collecting. That means 1997 was one of the final years of the classic eagle reverse, making it historically significant as part of the end of an era. Collectors often build complete date and mint mark sets of Washington quarters. High-grade late-date coins like 1997 P can be surprisingly difficult to find in superb condition because many were heavily circulated and not preserved carefully at the time of issue. Now let us shift gears and talk about another coin that creates massive excitement in the collecting world, the Lincoln penny. The Lincoln cent has been a cornerstone of American coinage since 1909 when it was first introduced to honor President Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first United States coin to feature a real historical figure. Rare Lincoln pennies have sold for staggering amounts of money. The legendary 1943 copper penny is one of the most famous error coins in the world. During World War II, pennies were supposed to be struck in steel to conserve copper for the war effort. But a few copper planchets were accidentally used, creating one of the rarest and most valuable coins in American history. Examples have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Then there is the 1909 South VDB Lincoln Center, struck at the San Francisco Mint with the designer's initials on the reverse. Low mintage and high demand have pushed values of high-grade examples into the thousands, and do not overlook more modern Lincoln cents. Certain double die varieties like the 1955 double die obverse are extremely valuable. The doubling is bold and visible, making it one of the most famous error coins ever produced. Even circulated examples can sell for significant amounts. So what does this mean for you? It means the coins in your jar at home could hold hidden treasures. The key factors that determine value are rarity, condition, demand, and errors. A common coin in poor condition is usually worth face value. But a rare variety or high-grade example can be worth life-changing money. Let us talk numbers for a moment. While a regular circulated 1997 p quarter is worth 25 cents, an uncirculated MS-65 example might sell for a modest premium. But step up to MS-67 or MS-68, and prices can jump dramatically into the hundreds or more depending on auction results. Error coins can range anywhere from $50 to several thousand depending on severity and rarity. The coin market changes over time based on collector interest and overall economic conditions. When demand increases, prices can rise quickly. That is why staying informed and researching recent auction sales is so important for serious collectors. Always handle coins carefully. Never clean them. Cleaning can destroy a coin's value instantly. Store them in protective holders. If you believe you have a high-grade or error coin, consider submitting it to a professional grading service for authentication and grading. Coin collecting is not just about money. It is about history, art, and the thrill of discovery. Every coin tells a story. The 1997 p Washington quarter represents the final chapter of a classic design era before the state quarters changed everything. The Lincoln penny represents over a century of American history in your hand. Imagine building a collection so rare and valuable that future generations treasure it. Imagine finding a coin worth thousands in your everyday change. That excitement is real. That possibility exists that if you enjoy learning about valuable coins like the 1997 p quarter and rare Lincoln pennies, make sure you subscribe to Coins and turn on notifications so you never miss a discovery. In this channel we explore hidden values, auction records, mint errors, and the secrets that most people overlook every single day. Start checking your pockets. Start checking your coin jars. Look closely at dates and mint marks. Because the next valuable coin might already be in your home waiting to be discovered. And remember, sometimes the smallest coins carry the biggest value.